Hello. I think we're going to begin. Hopefully more people will come in. And yeah, thanks for coming. You know, we do keep this going, talking about the adverse situations in our community. Brings us together though. So anyway, just want to welcome everybody. And when we start a meeting, I like to just take a moment and settle in. And I have it's my meditation bowl and my timer, both. So, but let's just take a minute and get comfortable. Once again, we're together. It's beautiful when we're together, no matter how many of us are here. There's about 40 people on Zoom with us. So the place is packed, you know? So anyway, let's just take a moment to kind of bring yourselves together, feel our energy, feel our community, feel our love, the beauty of being able to live here and be here and fight for our community. So we'll take just a moment. Thank you. So the agenda is going to go up on the screen. And we're going to start off with community speakers. Okay. Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll put it up there just so we know. Yeah. Okay. So these are different people that are have things they want to talk about. So and actually within this framework, people are really just giving a report. You know, they're going to bring up a subject of their interest, and we're not going to do a lot of dialogue. And Supervisor Redoni's office is Fernando Berauta. Please, he's going to start.
Thank you, Mike, and hello, everybody. Buenas noches. So my name is Fernando Barreto. I'm the newest aide to Supervisor Dennis Redoni, and I just want to take a minute today just to introduce myself and to say thank you. Thank you to each one of you for bringing an opportunity for me to be here and to connect with Bolinas in such a unique way. Plenty of love, plenty of community spirit, and a lot of respect and sense of opportunity, right? It's a real honor for me to serve each one of you, your families, and the rest of the community all across West Marin. And I just want to actually leave my email. Is that my email there? Okay, so Plan B, business cards, right? My email address and my telephone number, and leave the door open, right, for each one of you to come to our office, the Office of Supervisor Redoni, with questions, with suggestions, with ideas. We're always open to listen to you and to assist you in any matters that are impacting the life of each one of you, okay? So again, thank you, gracias, and looking forward to staying connected with each one of you soon, right? Leaving my business cards in here.
Well, hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here. Doesn't it feel good to be back together? I don't want to take too long, but I wanted to make the call for an extended festival this year. We've had the baby blessing continuously on every year. You know, it's, again, blessings on all the people who've held that core, that heart. And now I'm really called to expand, and so I'm going to be offering a class which is theater-based and also dance and movement-based, and hopefully out of that will come performances that we can utilize at the festival. There's a tentative date now, the 18th of June, which is Father's Day, and it's also a new moon. And I think it might be even a good time to honor the fathers in the world and all the fathering that goes on behind all of the rest of the mothering that we can see so clearly in this town. So I want to invite you. We're going to have an opportunity to have a mask making little workshop. We're going to be doing some exciting things. So the idea again is to bring the spirit of what this town does best to the world. And so we do it so well. So I'll have a little sign-up sheet with me, and I'll be back waiting at the end if you want to talk or have questions. And let's do it. See you.
Good evening. I'm going to try to give you a short report on the current status of the College of Marin's Marine Lab that is going up on Wharf Road. By the beginning of early January, all permits that were needed for the project were obtained. So we're now able to proceed with construction. At this time, we have raised, we have around $470,000 left to raise to fund this $5.4 million project. So we're well on our way to completion of that. The groundbreaking for the lab will be on July 21st at 10 a.m. actually, and you're all invited to come to that. It'll be the ceremony will be at the site. Once completed, this project will be unique to all of a one-of-a-kind facility for any community college in California. And there's two dimensions of what I think a facility like this, a science field lab for a community college, two dimensions to the benefit that it provides. One is that I think, and it's been the experience of the college in prior years when it was in operation, that it inspired students to continue their education, and many of them to continue their education in science. And quite a few of those people got advanced degrees in science, master's degrees and PhDs. And some of those people have become relatively eminent in their fields. I'm often surprised. I'll tell you an experience that I had. I was on the reef once and I was talking to this fellow who was about 50 years old and talking about the invertebrates. And after about 40 minutes or so of that, he told me what he did. And he was a microbiologist down at UC San Diego doing research. And we got to talking a little bit further, and it turned out that he first went to the College of Marin and had classes at that lab with Gordon Chan, and was inspired by that to continue his education in science. And it happens all the time. It's amazing the number of people in the sciences who started at College of Marin and had the experience in the lab. The other reason that I think is the lab is important, and to me, this is really the most important, is that whether people go on or not to an education either to a four-year college or not, and whether or not if they go to a four-year college, they go on in the sciences, the kinds of connections that they get from doing science where there's field work, where they have the opportunity to more tangibly, in a more concrete way, make the connection with the with the subject. Um, that helps create a care for and a constituency, not just for the critters in the intertidal, but for conservation values in general. And I think that will help build, in a small way, that will help build a constituency for the kinds of policies that we need to move forward in a positive way as a society. So to me, that's the big impact that the project will have. There's some pictures, slides here of what the building will look like. At the top left is the elevation from, if you're coming down Wharf, if you're coming from basically the south towards the building, if you're coming from the end of Wharf Road towards the building, that's the view of the building, the top left. The top right is the view of the building if you're going walking towards the south, basically past Buzzes and headed towards the end of Wharf Road. The view from the east side is down below. That's actually one structure, and a local committee in dialogue with the College of Marin developed that design. There's an office and bathrooms and storage space on the left-hand side. The right-hand side is entirely a laboratory and classroom. This is the architect's depiction of it when it will be built, what it will look like. The plan is that the sheathing of the laboratory will be different than the sheathing of the structure of the office portion of the building. So it will have, even though this is actually one building, it will have the appearance of being a separate building. And that appearance of being a separate building will be supported by the fact that there's numerous lines. For example, the ridge line of the roof is different in each part of the building, and there's multiple ways, and the office is set back from the front plane of the office is set back from the front plane of the lab. Next slide. And that's the floor plan of the building. Most of it is the laboratory. There's in spaces 4 and 5 is where you'll have specimens, storage and equipment storage. Outside, 9, outside where it says folding doors, that will be outdoor lab tables with water tables, and that will also be available to students, elementary school students, and junior high school students who come by and use the lab. It will be available to the Stinson Bolinas summer school program, and of course the students from the college will also use that when they come back from the field. That's it.
Hi, I'm Karen Gately. I'm your social worker here in Bolinas through the County of Marin, and I'm here with my supervisor, Chloe Cook. And I'm going to start and just share with you some of my office hour changes and a few things that have been going on. First of all, I have to say, I can't believe I've been here a year, March 21st, and I've had hundreds of interactions with you all, and it's just been, I don't know why I'm going to cry. You have another crier here. It's just been an amazing experience, and I just want to thank you for all the support the community's given to me, and I feel very grateful and blessed to be able to serve you all. So my schedule has changed a little bit. Okay, so on Wednesdays, we have a mobile shower service that's not only for the unhoused individuals, but it's for anybody, and no questions are asked. So if you have plumbing issues or whatnot, you can go and get a shower there. And we just upgraded the vehicle this week, so we have it's a lot better, better water pressure and everything. So feel free to use it if you need a shower. and it's there from 10 to 1 on Wednesdays. Up on the Mesa, sorry. Yeah, Mesa Park. And at the clinic, I've been at the clinic on Thursdays, but I'm now there from 1 to 4, and my coworker Carmen Garone, who's a bilingual, bicultural support service worker, she's going to have hours there from 9 to 12, and she's happy to help support you with any of your Medi-Cal, CalFresh, CalWorks applications and renewals. There's a lot of renewals happening right now that COVID's over. People should be getting their packets, and she's happy to help you with that, as well as our WIC program for moms. So I'll be there. For me, I'll be there 1 to 4. Carmen will be there from 9 to 12. I also will still have my hours at the fire station on Fridays from 10:30 to 4. And even though I only have office hours 2 days a week, I am happy and available for phone consultations, home visits. I've been known to meet people at the picnic table, grab a cup of coffee. I've had 2 visits on the beach, believe it or not. So I'm happy to meet you all where you're at, or if you want more privacy, at the office, at my office hours. And I wanted to touch base a little bit on the homeless. I've been working a lot with Community Action Marin and then our county's coordinated entry. And I just started working. We have a support service worker coming out here on Fridays to help me with our unhoused. And we've been able to do a lot of work connecting them to resources and services. And as you can see, when you look around, it's been quite successful. We've been able to get a lot of our folks into safe places. And
Is it possible you folks could post on the hearsay on an ongoing basis your availability, your
yeah, and I've been meaning to write in the hearsay, and I apologize for that. I'm just so busy, but it's been on my mind since the beginning. But I'd be happy to work with Will on that and give you all updates. And so please feel free to contact me anytime with any questions, and I'd be happy to help you with resource navigation and connect you to services or anything else. Thank you. Oh, and I'll leave my cards here.
Thank you, Karen. You guys are so lucky. She's a fabulous social worker. So make use of her. She's really great. Resource navigation specialist, fabulous. Anyway, on a personal note, my father was studied at the Marine Lab when he's a College of Marin student, and he taught at Princeton until he passed away. So he would be 85 now. So the Marine Lab has been training students for many, many years, and it's just kind of fun to see it reimagined and revived. So that's exciting. I'll have to tell my 84-year-old mother. Anyway, thank you all. I'm Chloe Cook. I am the manager of Health and Human Services in West Marin. 380 square miles. You guys are one of our villages, and I manage a staff of 12. We are reinvigorating our service center in Point Reyes Station with the addition of Karen's role, and really focusing on our community and bringing behavioral health, children and family services. We're working on getting more public health participation. I have currently received a grant so we can have a public health nurse part-time. So again, my goal really in my role, which is a fairly new role, I've been here just a year as well, is to really revive the amount of services that we have in West Marin. And in that note, I just want to kind of go over briefly the services that we provide. So again, behavioral health, substance use services. We work with our West Marin family members and clients to go through the access process. We give a lot of hand-holding and a lot of support. Access is the front door to behavioral health services and substance use services in Marin. So our service center is really focused on meeting people where they are in their community and making access possible to behavioral health services. So that's just one service, but we also do all of the entitlement programs, which are Medi-Cal enrollment, CalFresh enrollment, general assistance, general relief enrollment. We do all the enrollment for CalWorks, which are mothers that have small children, families that have small children and need support. We do all the children and family services, which is all kinds of parenting support, all the way up to or down to the child protective services. We do aging and adult services, which is in-home health supportive services, a benefit of Medi-Cal. We do the adult protective services here in West Marin, and we have, again, social workers and support service workers associated with all those programs. So I want to bring up a couple of things that are really important. Now that the pandemic has been declared ended, everyone this coming year in 2020, the rest of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 are going to need to re-up all of their programs. So it's not a new thing. It just was during the pandemic. CalFresh, Medi-Cal, and general assistance, all of those different programs didn't require the yearly or monthly, with some of them, recertifications for eligibility. So that is all being rolled back out again. And we understand that's a burden and a pressure, and it's something people are going to have to get used to again. But I have information here for anyone who needs it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call our office. And Karen, of course, because we're here to help you make this as painless as possible. So that's why we're here. That's why we're embedded in your community. That's why Karen's here. That's why we're in Tamales and the San Geronimo Valley and all over West Marin, the 380 square miles of service area, because we really want to, again, meet people where they are. And I have information associated with everything that I've spoken to today, including a resource trifold about cell phone access, free, low cost, easy access for cell phones. And then all of you who have not heard about participatory budgeting, it means money for projects in your community. There's a lot of money out there, and we need action from West Marin nonprofits and individuals who have interest in bringing and developing new programs for West Marin to get on board and take a look at the flyers that I have, both in Spanish and English. Everything is in Spanish and English, because we really want to invigorate the interest from West Marin around participatory budgeting. It means money for our communities, and we need your involvement to make that happen. We just can't bring it out here because we're government. It's kind of, we can't participate. We need to just support all of you and the community in participating and developing and really coming up with some creative ideas to spend the money to bring programs to your community. So thank you so much, and we're really privileged to serve. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. Really, you play a wonderful role in this community. So thank you. Yeah. So thank you to everybody that spoke. If you want to talk to any of the people that did speak at the end of the meeting, at the back of the room, you can talk with them. So now I'm going to turn it over to Will Bartlett, and he's going to lead it from here.
More. Hey, everybody. Guess what? We're here again. And that's exciting because, as everyone says, we used to not do this over and over and over again, but I think that it's a time that it might be important to do so. I don't remember what my slides are, so I'm good. Oh, yes. So at the end of last meeting, I introduced the idea of this thing called the Bolinas Civic Group, which is basically a website with some emails and ways to get connected to folks. And a lot of people signed up for a lot of things, and it was actually kind of great. And we were able to get some people connected to the most pertinent issues at the time, which might have been, at the time, maybe the Waterhouse building. So what is the Bolinas Civic Group? I have a mission statement, and I can't read and talk in the microphone. Let's see. The mission of the Bolinas Civic Group is to focus on communication, engagement, and supporting the citizens of Bolinas who wish to collaborate in an open, closed forum. And it kind of worked, because the next thing you know, we got people connected. We got people into projects, we got some folks together with the on the Waterhouse thing. We created this thing called the Waterhouse Complex Planning Group, which was a group of folks that all decided they really wanted to be involved. And I'll talk a little bit about it. Let's see, that's my name again. Boy, these slides. All right. We've all gotten connected. There's a group of folks. It's a diverse group of talents focused on a community vision revolving around planning, engagement, and communication with the public about the space. And it's super exciting, and there's lots more to come there, but there's been another challenge that has come up, and that is our post office. And so this group actually splintered a little bit deeper into focus and decided to rally around the post office. So I would like to introduce the members of the Waterhouse Complex Planning Group who are going to talk about the post office. That's you guys. I'm not doing the whole thing.
I'm Sherry Dell.
I'm John Borg.
Excuse me for a minute. Okay, so, hello, this is Sherry Dell, and
John Borg. Hi, everybody.
this is my first public address. So I'm gonna start with starting with how we got here. The post office lost its lease. There was a temporary unit in the back parking lot. It closed, it moved to Lima. There's a lot of information in articles and in social media. Your friends know about it, your family knows about it. You can get more information from them. We wanted to focus on what we're gonna do about it. And maybe before starting with what we've done about it, we thought we'd start with a little bit about what is going on, maybe in a larger platform. Just want to start with saying the post office is necessary. The post office is not controversial, and it is integrated into the fabric of our lives. Little tidbit, the ratified in 1789, the US Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7, known as the Postal Clause, gives Congress the authority to create the post office. Over the years, they also are the entity that has written acts and initiatives that guide the post office in its decision-making. In 2006, they passed the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act. It's an interesting piece of legislation that's 70 some pages long. I did not get into it, but I did find that there were other groups that had summarized for me the two takeaways that I thought were pertinent to what we're going through. The first being that this act created a tough and nearly unachievable budget goal. It mandated that they pre-fund retiree benefits for 75 years into the future. And hence this created a lot of the budget shortfalls that we've been hearing about since 2006. And the move to wanting to privatize and just the budget shortfalls. But one of the perks of this act was that it also includes the language that requires preserving regular and effective access to postal services in all communities, including those in rural areas or where post offices are not self-sustaining. So this piece of legislation, it's sitting there in 2011, they passed an initiative in Congress called the Retail Access Optimization Initiative. This was intended to enhance some of the language in the act, and at that point in time prompted 4,000 rural post offices to be studied for closure. This is where slide 1, going back one, right here, this is just a map of 4,000 rural post offices, not in the Western United States, that were under review. I don't have a map for you of the Western United States, but we know that out in the West, we do things differently, and a lot of people took to forming coalitions and organizing and taking action. In Colorado, Gypsum and other mountain communities, Wolcott, Bond, and McCoy fought to save their post offices and won. Also in Colorado, Avon, Buena Vista, Parachute, Silverthorne, Snowmass Village, and Steamboat Springs. In the state of Oregon, a group called the Rural Organizing Project facilitated many communities. There were 41 rural post offices slated for closure under the 2011 initiative. During that time, this group put together like a 17-page manual for how to fight and organize as a community. From that period of time, they adopted a few words that hope and shame don't work, noise works, pushback works. 21 post offices were saved. Again, hoping that something's going to be different, hoping the post office moves back, hoping that we can secure a space in the Waterhouse complex, or hoping that we don't have very many buildings that would be suitable for post office functions or meet the requirements that the post office has for standards of access. So hope is great. Shaming, just want to say pointing fingers won't help us at this point, but action and organizing. And we have a playbook from other communities that has worked. One of the things, of course, that's very different about our situation, our circumstances, is that in 2012, in the communities mentioned here, there was a very different set of circumstances. In 2011 and 2012, the communities where post offices were slated for closure, there were rules, procedures, and protocols that the UPS had to abide by, notices, meetings, hearings, before those locations could be chosen and selected and officially closed. We don't have the luxury of going from point A to point B merely by the opportunity of the eviction. We're already at point B, so we're not going to have the conversations with the Postal Service and the hearings, but I feel like we still have to fight to bring back our post office. We need to organize, we need to communicate, and the longer our post office isn't here, the less likely we are that it's going to come back, because resources that are allocated get reallocated. Revenue streams that were reported as 94924 post office revenue streams are now going to be reported as 94950 revenue streams. So working with elected officials and the powers that be, we need to be able to make our voices heard and make it really clear that we can't survive without our post office. Yeah, pushback works.
Can I jump in now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, first of all, we're moving fast by necessity. So I got involved in this just basically a couple weeks ago, and then meanwhile, the post office closure announcement was announced, and we had no time for input or moving. So basically, we're having to move fast. So we are working on a strategy and a plan, and it's still being finessed, but we're taking action immediately because we have to. We're already executing, and we need all your help, hopefully. Our work may not be perfect at this point, but we can't let perfect be the enemy of the good. We got to move. And we are. So one thing we've done is a lot of research and analysis. And so Sherry basically went through that. So one thing that we did is a deep dive in what's going on with the USPS, which is a beleaguered organization. It's lost like 100 billion since 2007, et cetera, et cetera. And how does that affect us in Bolinas? We've looked at trends with the post office and trends with regards to rural post office closures and consolidations. And it's really close to home for us here in terms of where this is going or potentially going. We've connected with communities in rural areas that have saved their post offices and reviewing best practices for grassroots action that works. And so we're starting on that. So some of the stuff that we're doing is we're exploring alternative locations. The other thing I would say is that it's kind of a divide and conquer strategy with the people that are involved. And again, we can use more help. And if you're willing to help, please see us at the end of the meeting. But one of the things is that because the ship has already sailed, our post office is already closed. We've already been told to move your PO boxes to Bolinas and pick them up there, or I'm sorry, to Alima, pick up your stuff there, et cetera. That's a done deal, and there's nothing we could do to stop it. And we had no opportunity to stop it. And unfortunately, we weren't given the adequate time to respond to it and try to resolve it. So it's basically kind of a multi-pronged plan in terms of what we want. But the main thing is, first, we want to get a location back in Bolinas as soon as possible. The longer our postal service is out of town, the more difficult it's going to be for us to bring it back. And potentially this could be a strategy by the Postal Service to kind of create a new normal where it's like, okay, you're going to Lima and Stinson to get your mail. And then a year, 6 months down the line, well, we couldn't work it out. It's done for forever or whatever. We all know how difficult, there's very limited commercial property in Bolinas, and we know how challenging that might be. I don't know the nuances of the lease dispute and all that kind of stuff, but what we need to do is deal with reality. The reality is our post office is gone right now. And if you look at the big picture, the U.S. Postal Service is seriously challenged, and it could definitely impact us. And so it's super important that we act quickly, and we basically we elevate the issue with the powers that be. And we identify who's important, and we kind of target them. And in truth, we need to work with our local officials to get what we need done. So that would be elected leaders locally, in the state, but also this is basically largely a federal issue. So, so we've explored alternative locations, and we're going to look at trying to find a temporary location in Bolinas to relocate the postal office until a new location is resolved. And that's, other people are involved in that, but that's kind of happening. Community meetings, thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for Zooming. And this is good. This is a total civic action, and this is what we need to do. There probably will be more meetings, maybe specific just to the post office, but we want to try to keep the community informed. There's a lot of fog with what's going on because of the lack of information, so we want to try to clarify stuff. We're trying to collect data because that's an important way to move officials. So we've launched a survey, and it's had really good engagement. I think it's roughly maybe a third of households in Bolinas have already responded, and we've gotten a lot of good data already. But we encourage everybody to participate in the survey and try to get their friends to participate, because that's going to help us move things forward. We've launched a petition, which we just launched yesterday. It was supposed to be launched at this meeting tonight. And petitions are a great way to engage not just the community, but the greater community that loves Bolinas and cares about us. And including residents, Bolinas residents like my kids that are away at college. And so this gives us leverage. It measures concern, builds momentum, tells our story, motivates change and action by, showing the powers that be that people care about this. We are hoping there'd be 100 signatures by this meeting, but in 24 hours, at the start of this meeting, the equivalent of more than half the full-time population of Bolinas has already signed the petition. It's drafted in a way to tell our story without too much detail, but with a clearly defined goal. It targets officials who make decisions, and we need help. But so far, there's been more than 625 signatures, more than 6,000 views, more than 100 shares. And so it's a really good tool, and it just started. So we really encourage people to try to participate in that and try to get your friends to do it. We're going to probably do a paper version of it. And I know a lot of people don't trust big tech. Change.org won't spam. There's some privacy options if you sign it. There's a little bit of an annoying pop-up screen asking for a donation, but you could bypass that. And it's very easily shareable. In addition to the petition, we're communicating with elected officials and agencies. And we want to work on a website or maybe a portal where all the general information could be. There could maybe tools for community action and all that kind of stuff. But really, because this just came upon us, we're just moving fast. And the low-hanging fruit is get the petition up, get the survey up, get this meeting ready, et cetera. So there's a lot more that we need to do.
Meeting with Huffman, our congressperson?
Yeah, we've been in touch with him.
Well, I have too, but here we are. I mean, is that a step that is part of the planning?
Absolutely, yeah. We're engaged with, go ahead, please.
Specific instructions for people who haven't filled out the survey and haven't signed the petition?
We're going to put them up on the screen.
So, yeah, it'll be up there. So there'll be we can get you a link to the survey and all that kind of stuff. It's an online survey. We'll do a print version if people want to sign it that way, but it's actually more effective if the more online stuff that we can do it, that's all the data is going to be collected. I'm sorry? Yeah, we'd like to do that, yeah.
We do have a Spanish
Yeah, for the
version.
survey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Just tell people that the Spanish version is there.
There is a Spanish version, absolutely. Yeah, we want to be as inclusive as possible. Additional stuff that we could do, additional networking with other communities that have done this already, that's ongoing. Meet with our community, so here we are, and there'll be more to come. Polls in the petition, so basically gathering data that supports our cause. Volunteers out of Lima, so that would be, we can use some help with people maybe canvassing and that kind of stuff. Demonstrate or political actions and events to further engage the community. And the idea with that would be we'd want it to be planned and executed in a way that it's successful. Post signs and other communications. And then we'll create like letters, emails, postcard templates for kind of classic grassroots community activism to write the right officials, make it easy to find who you need to talk to and that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, honestly, we've been doing this for a week, but the idea is that we want to put a website up or put it somewhere online where people could do it. And then if people don't have access to online stuff, there could be a print version of it, but we'll try to communicate and we'll just, we'll get to that, soon.
Currently,
You know what, I want to just sort of get through what we're doing, and then I think we could have questions after that. It's just, I don't want to get too sidetracked. but that's a super relevant question.
We're novices. We don't usually address or run groups or meetings.
Okay, poll data.
You want to look at the polls?
Yeah, let's do it. So we've had good engagement on the polls, and 190 responses so far, but around 200 responses. And thank everybody that's participated. And if you haven't, please fill it out. Is it difficult to get to Alima? 80%, yes. How often you go to the post office? I think 30, 60, 72% is 1 to 3 days a week, roughly. How many days a week can you realistically go to Alima? Half the people are saying one day a week. Do you rely on the PO to get your prescriptions? 60% yes. So that's a pretty high percentage. Do you think the community has been given clear, full, and timely information? 90% no. Do you think Bolinas has been given adequate time to work with stakeholders and officials? 95% no. Do you have any concerns that the temporary closure could potentially become permanent? 99% yes. Are you confident the USPS is fully committed to securing a new permanent post office in Bolinas? 80% no. And to that point, I mean, basically, certainly officials are telling us stuff, but I think that people don't necessarily trust it. And I think that's the position we need to take, is trust but verify, or maybe more, don't trust but verify. Do you consider the post office to be among the top public sector services and priorities of Bolinas? 99%, yeah, everybody, yes. So that's all pretty obvious. What we want, and so with regards to, what we need to do is like, okay, all this stuff is happening, what do we do, blah, 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 but what do we really want out of this? And so here's basically simple, clear demands for what we're asking for. 3 things. 1, move the Bolinas post office to a suitable temporary location within our town until a permanent new Bolinas location is chosen and available. And the point on this is that the reality is there's a lot of complexities with a Waterhouse building, and we don't know how long it could take to resolve that, if that's even an option. And that may be a great option, but it could take time. And getting a temporary location here, there's a lot of complexities with that. So for example, if we move to Mesa Park, it could be, we need help from our supervisor to help expedite permits and all that kind of stuff, because it's really complicated to do something like that. But ideally, the strategy is, 1, let's get a post office back here ASAP. 2, here we are, right? We were given less than 2 weeks notice of this closing, no public input. So we want to ensure a planning process that's more transparent. We're given clear and timely information and the opportunity for input on decisions regarding the future of our post office. And 3, sign a long-term lease or develop a permanent facility to ensure that the Bolinas post office remains securely in our community for the foreseeable future. So you could, like, if somebody has a phone, you could shoot this and it takes you to the change.org petition, and we'll figure out other ways to get it out there, but there's links to it and various things like that. It's change.org/save-the-Bolinas-post office. Of course. And then this other one is the poll. So again, we'll do the same with that. And it's already on the Bolinas Civic Group website. That's it for me.
So real quick, just to sum up, I'm standing here over here, but there's an email address to get involved with these folks called post-office-connect@bolinascivicgroup.org. Also, all of the polls are linked on the webpage there, and all of other information is a sort of starting ground for these folks to get engaged. And we'll turn it over to Mark.
Whoa. Yeah.
I just wanted to give Rasma the opportunity to tell us what happened at the last meeting.
Hello there, everyone. I'm representing the Mesa Park Board. We held a special meeting last Friday, and we all unanimously voted to extend the possibility of a short-term lease to the post office. There's a lot of details to actually making that happen. So if you'd like to help make that happen or be on a special committee for input, please reach out to the Mesa Park Board. We have, if you look up Firehouse Community Park Agency, our contact information is on that website. Oh yeah. We're looking for another board member as well. So come join us.
Well, thank you, John, Sherry, for your work. That I feel a hell of a lot better now in a really shitty situation. Excuse my language, but that's kind of what it is, you know? So yeah, thank you very, very much for all the work you've done. So yeah, we can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, God, what do you do with that, huh? You know, we're kind of like last meeting, we talked about the water house and we got as much information as we could possibly get. And then it's like, what do we do with that? You know, well, what we did then was we dreamt, you know, we said what we want. We said what we want to see there. We try to make it happen in our hearts, you know, and put that out. Tonight, there's really not a lot of dialogue that can take place, but what we can do is come up to the mic and say how this personally affects us. And I think it's important. One, we have the Point Raised Light here. They're going to be writing an article. It's important for Rodoni and his office. It's important for Huffman. It's important for people. Pisses me off. Anyway, it's important that they know how it is affecting us. And it is affecting us in many, many ways. So if you all will participate with this, come up, raise your hand, come up, make a little line. If you can't come up, raise your hand and you can talk from there. But anyway, please come up and just tell the rest of us what it's like for you, how it's interfered in your life. Ananda. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jenny Pfeiffer here. I wanted to say thanks to everyone who's zooming in and also in the room. But I want to particularly say thank you to Fernando Barreto, who's been coming to these meetings, the second one he's come to, and he is really making it happen for our contact with Rodoni. So I really want to say thank you for that. And also, I have gotten word back from our state senator who represents the North Bay communities, and that's Mike McGuire. His office contacted me just this afternoon. They're eager to meet with us if we can set up a Zoom meeting to meet with his office. So there are, our elected officials are looking and getting back to us, and we are going to be getting our information to them so they realize that this is really big for us. And we're not interested in having our post office be gone. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that that's happening.
So, Ananda.
Yes, thank you. And I want to thank the Park Board and the Firehouse and the BPUD for all signing off on the idea of the, and I want to keep this really fresh and uppermost in mind. We can, because everybody has signed off and it's been a unanimous, I spent a lot of time last week talking to everybody plus the board members. And it's unanimous, and it passed through the park board meeting last week that we can move it up to the Mesa Park. We can do that. So it's unanimous here. And then, so we say there's a lot of details. Actually, I don't see a lot of details. I see it's a mobilization that can be done in a week. We need 3 containers, 8 by 40, 3 containers, and an office, a portable office. That's what we need up there. And then we can build quickly some temporary structures to keep the wind and the sun off. Firehouse will run some lines out for electricity and heat, for lights and heat. So that's a possibility. And the proposal has been to, for a year, temporary, they say, temporary solution, yes, but for a year, renewable lease. That was what was passed last week at the meeting by the park board director. So the details are in the supervision, county supervision, I would say. I think it just can be done if we get it. Permits, we'll take care of. I mean, if they can give us an emergency permit. That's what we need. And because we need to have this thing in town. It needs to stay in town.
So does anyone, Leah, please. So if you want to come up, you can just kind of get in line or wait till they're finished and come up. I don't want to hurt anybody.
This is kind of an anecdote. So I live on Olima Bolinas Road at the Franklin Farm. I'm a landscaper. And at 8 o'clock this morning, I noticed that my crew, 2 guys who had both ridden their bicycle, like wondered where they were. And I looked out to the road from the driveway and they were talking to this guy. And then I thought, who is that guy? And then they brought him in and he said, I'm the Amazon delivery guy, and where's the post office? Amazon did not know where the fucking post office was. So I said, oh, it's really easy. It's up in Olima. You just go out to Highway 1 and you go up the road. And he said, no, I don't want to get lost. He was an African American. I mean, he had an accent, so he was a foreigner kind of. And he said, can I please get on your internet so that I can download my whatever, Google Map or whatever? And so I said, sure. And then he thanked me because he got his little Google map of how to get to Olima, not to get lost. And then later in the day, my Latino crew asked me, Leah, where do we go to get our mail? So that's kind of concern to me, is that to make sure that everyone knows, including our Latino people, where to get the mail. He had no idea what hours, where it was. And I said, it's at the campground in Olima. And he said, I don't know where that is. You mean where the laundry is? I mean, so there's a lot of confusion here, yeah, with Amazon and others.
I guess what I'm mostly feeling about this situation is a sense of deep betrayal by the federal government. Because the post office, I mean, of course there's a post office. There's always been a post office. Or, delivery of mail. You get mail, you send mail. It's like one of the oldest and most respected government services that there ever was. There's no controversy about the post office. Everybody wants a post office. So to have this situation develop and be just thrust on us at the last minute with totally inadequate notice or any explanation, it almost seems deliberate, because maybe they were afraid if they told us too early, then there'd be a big campaign and they'd be in a mess. And so here we are. But luckily, we have this really civically engaged, active community full of savvy people who have skills in all different areas. and can, you know, help make this happen, as we've just heard. And so it gives me heart to know that we have that kind of a community where when things go awry, you know, we have people in the community who can help resuscitate it. And that's one of the things I love about this town. And here we are, you know, we can't depend on the federal government to make this work. We have to save ourselves, as we've done in the past. And so I'm glad I'm here tonight and have heard that there are people working on this. And yeah, let's keep the momentum going and the spirit going, and we'll make it happen. Thanks.
That was Don Smith. Anybody coming up, just say who you are.
I'm Alex Bleeker. I live here in town. If we're just talking about how it feels, it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to have to drive to Alima and back to get your mail. So if we're speaking out, everybody in this room who is a resident of this town knows that already. If we're speaking more widely, that's the simplest way I can say it. And that should be pretty obvious. But I think there's nuance there too, because there are a lot of folks in town. For me, it's like, well, actually, my car's in Cheetahs now, so I can't get my mail. But you know, it's like, but I'll have it back, hopefully. So the thing is like, there are a lot of folks who don't drive regularly, who live here in Bolinas, who it's more than a pain in the ass. It's actually becomes sort of an impossibility. And you know, we know there are a lot of elders in town. It's hard to get very far. It's hard enough to get downtown. It's very hard to get out of town for a lot of folks. And, you know, as a person who's, you know, at least statistically a younger person who lives in town full time, it's hard to live. It's a modern world, and there's already things like you order a pair of pants online, because we do in this day and age. And if they don't fit right, you want to return them, you have to drive 90 minutes round trip because it's FedEx and there's no FedEx in town or whatever. That's hard enough. That's one of the things we accept. But like thinking about, you know, maintaining a more youthful community that to like keep this community that we all value super strong, it doesn't attract. It's another obstacle, you know, for how it is to live here, of many, you know, for people who do want to continue to live here and contribute to this community. It's yet another thing of like, man, it's 22 miles round trip to get my mail now. So that's it. I don't know. I just wanted to like speak from that perspective. It's annoying. Yeah.
I'm Wendy, and I'm involved in the little group, but I came up here to say that I went completely out of my way today to Alima to get my mail because I haven't had it since last week, and I don't always go to the post office every day because I don't always need to, but I'm pretty pissed off about the whole thing. But today I got something in the mail that is extremely important that I had no idea was coming. And I can tell you, just it's something that a lot of other people, I'm assuming a lot of other people in this town are getting in their mailboxes and not knowing. And there's a really serious deadline when you get this thing in the mail, and it could cost people's health insurance and other things that are important. I was floored when I saw that was one of the things in my mailbox today that people are not going to necessarily have access to in time.
Yeah, what are you talking
I'm trying to keep my own privacy, but I'm saying that there's important stuff that some people in this town are getting in the mail, and it involves health insurance, and it's paperwork that needs to be filled out in a certain amount of time, and it's already coming by surprise. So if you don't know it's there and you're not getting to the post office, it's possible people are going to lose their health insurance over this.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm Gene, and I've lived in town on and off for over 30 years. I'm a senior, obviously, now. I don't drive, don't have a license, I don't have a car. And the fact that there's no post office in town is unacceptable. I think that I've heard from the person who's been in charge of the post office here that, you know, they really want to try to make things work out so it's a temporary transition. I think that the responsibility for this is not the issue. The issue is how do we get it done? And the question for me is who's responsible on a federal level to change, to put pressure on the Postal Service? And I think it's Huffman and his office, and with support from Radoni's office and this team. And I've called both offices, and people have been very nice and very accommodating. But you know what? It's sort of like we're one of 1,000 different issues that they get calls about every day. So the idea of being able to put pressure on them, whatever it takes, and that might mean going to their office and saying, hey, we want to meet with Huffman, Jared Huffman, and have him do something within a certain period of time if there's nothing that comes around around this within the next month or 6 weeks. Because the point being made is the longer it's not here, the less chance. The Postal Service guy, the managers told me that they do have portable trailers, and that's only for emergencies, like if there's a massive flood. Well, this is an emergency for this community. Yeah, right. And you know what? They can bring a portable trailer that's not going to tip over on the bridge and break all the windows, which the partial trailer they brought happened to. But, you know, and if that happens, they fix it and get it set up. You know, I mean, and I, because of that, I get medications in the mail. I get all sorts of other things in the mail. That is critical. And it's critical for not just me, but for, as the survey showed so far, for many, many people in town. So we need to keep putting pressure. And again, I think the person who can make this happen more is Jared Huffman. And if he doesn't do it, or if we don't get a positive response and action from his office and from him, then we need to make this a public issue in a big way. Thank you.
My name's Ed Mann. Born on the Mesa. Been here a while and seen a lot of changes, some good, some bad. Like people have said earlier, there's in Bolinas, if one thing's for sure, there's always controversy and there's always people that can't agree on things. It's kind of the way it goes. But you get something like this, and the post office, I mean, this is completely not acceptable. Like, there's no way that we can accept it. I like what Ananda was saying about don't let them take it away. The sooner you get it back, you know, every day that we don't have a post office is like, time is of the essence here. We need to get that thing here once it's here and then keep it here. And again, don't worry about where it's going to be. We'll find a place. We need to keep it here. We have to find a place. And the other thing I want to say is that the very first day that the post office was closed, I was driving out of town, going to work, and one of our local seniors was hitchhiking because they had a bill to pay that was due, and they had to get a money order. And of course, there's nowhere to get one here. So it was actually pretty nice because I got to catch up with somebody I hadn't seen in a while, but it would be nice if it wasn't under such circumstances. I mean, so that was just all these stories that everyone's telling. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is like the testimony that you guys have all said is like, you couldn't make up better examples than these. I mean, it's totally unacceptable. Let's not allow it. Thanks.
Hi, Susie Stewart. I've lived here a while now. I think it's everybody's said a lot of great things. It's worth pointing out that the public transportation in West Marin is not the greatest, and there is no public transportation from here to Olima. None. So people that need that don't have a way. So thank you.
My name is Chetan. I think most of the people here know me. I think Ed was just talking about me. It was my postal money order that I had to hitch to Stinson Beach to get because there was no post office. This morning I hitched to Olima to get my mail, and then I hitched to Point Reyes Station to get my meds, and then I hitched back to Bolinas. And what I got in the mail was what Karen Gately was talking about earlier, the re-up of Medi-Cal filings. It's a 25-page booklet that needs to be filled out within a 10-day window. Otherwise, you lose your Medi-Cal. Already been in the box for a few days. So, of course, I'll drop it off with her. Thank God we have a social worker here, and she can date stamp it, and it'll get there on time. But that won't be true for most of the people here. People run small businesses out of their homes. It's going to get harder. And so on and so forth and so on. So yes, this needs to be moved quickly. And I thank you all for listening to me. I'm not used to speaking in public, so thank you.
Anybody else want to talk? Say something?
Hi, this is Will. I'm right over here, right next to you.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
God.
Just real quick, just to let everybody know, the community center is going to have a mail drop box at some point installed in front of the community center. So you can put like a blue box, I guess. I haven't seen one of those in a while, but yeah, blue box. Also, while you're there, we will also be installing QR codes to get to the polls and the petitions as well. So there should be drop points where you can receive those. And I guess just as a reminder, all of the information that we've talked about tonight, these folks over here have put in a phenomenal amount of work, and I've been helping them and facilitating through the Bolinas Civic Group. That website, bolinascivicgroup.org, has links, at least to the polls and the information that they've put out there to help get them started. You can also find email addresses to get connected with these folks so that you can get involved and get together the strategy or whatever have it be. So I just wanted to say those couple of things real quick.
So I'm Marty Wood, and I'm a potter here in town. I've lived here 25 years, and I'm 86 years old, almost 87. And I can drive. I still can drive. I still have a license. But for Christ's sakes, am I be going up to Olima to get my mail? And I get my meds. I don't have too many, but I do get what I need in the mail. This is crazy. You know, this is really just absurd that's happening here, that this mail problem is happening. And also, what's that mean about that slip that we could fill out and we get rural delivery? And then if we're filling it out, it probably means we're never going to get a post office. I mean, it's just double talk. I still don't know. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heidi Sandval. And I'm coming kind of late to the game, but I don't know if it was happening already. I am very available to drive up to Olima and pick up mail for people. If somehow, I don't know if part of that website that you guys have set up, if you can set up something with drivers that you guys can contact us privately. I know you have to have a permission slip, but I could set something up where I go 3 times a week up to Olima, just in this interim time that we need for people to get their mail and etc. So I just wanted to put out there if that's something that we might be able to add to this whole scenario. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi, because I had put that out on Nextdoor also, and somebody else had volunteered. So I think it's informally happening, but it would be nice if we figured out a way to make it more formal that people know about. And I'm happy to do it when I can too. I can tell you it's simple. I'm already doing it for somebody else. And I just had a simple note and a photocopy of their ID. But honestly, after I already did it once, they didn't even ask for the copy of the ID and the note. Like I, I think it depends on the situation, obviously, and I don't know how safe that is either. That's a whole other story. But it does work to pick up other people's mail, and it's not that difficult. So I'm happy to gather a group of us happy to do that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, we'll find out.
What's the room said? What's going to happen when Alima floods next? Or maybe tomorrow? Flood tomorrow? It's going to flood tomorrow. The next day.
So I want to say that, like, this affects me personally. I choose not to leave town. Sometimes I go out of town once a month, sometimes once every 3 months, and sometimes I've been known over the last 30 some years I've lived here to not leave town for 6 months at a time. So the idea of getting in the car and having to be in the car and how that affects me physically and mentally, just to be, I know a lot of people like to drive and they go do that, but if I'm going to drive out of town, I usually keep going, like all the way to Mexico or all the way to the Sierras. If I'm going to get in the car, I might as well get some good mileage out of it. But the idea of just casually, and I like to ride my bike to the post office, and I like to be able to do it, walk away from my desk and take a little time off and go to the post office. I like it to be incorporated into my lifestyle. And this driving to Alima is not a part of my lifestyle. It's why I live here. I live here so that I can walk or bike or stay without having to go places to do basic functions. So in saying that, I also want to add that, like, I like numbers, and so I did some back of the napkin calculations. And while I have heard from a friend that I had the wrong census data, I'm just going to lay out my calculations anyway. So there's a little over 2,000 people in the 94924 zip code. There's 1,141 houses. 1,141 houses. Let's just say one family has to pick up their mail every day. That is 840 minutes at 40-minute. Okay, back up for a second. So it's 11.6 miles, right? That's 23.2 miles round trip. It's 40 minutes round trip. So you multiply that by, there's 4.3 weeks in a month. So that's 21.5 trips to Olima at 860 minutes or 14.3 hours spent monthly retrieving your mail. And let's see, how many miles did I calculate? I'm forgetting the number of miles, but AAA says that the average price of gasoline in Marin County is $4.77. So at $4.77, going 23.2 miles, 21.5 times a month, it's $95.17. With 1,141 families going, that many going every day to pick up their mail, it's over $108,000 a month. So that's my back of the napkin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Will again, and I'm going to take off I'm just going to be Will for a second. But I also like data, and I'm super into it. And one of the slides or the data points we didn't show tonight was some of the results of the poll that were sort of long form answers. And the question was, what other services does the post office provide for you? And you guys are never going to believe this, but almost every single response had to do with community. right? It had to do with the place where everybody goes every day to meet everybody. Sometimes I don't like to get off the mesa. I go surf, I come back. I go surf, I come back, right? And the fact for me is that that's the one time that I'm running into a whole bunch of people. And that's what the data shows. It was really hard to show it on the screen because everybody did it like long form, a sentence, but like the data shows that the post office was a central hub of this community. Everyone who responded felt that way. I feel that way. So I just, I'm sure there can be another hub, but the funny thing, I started thinking about it, why is the post office the hub? It's because it's the one thing we have to do for ourselves. It's the one like boring task. Let's go get our mail, but it's the let's go get our mail and hang out with people that we like or hang out with people that we're going to run into. It's a funny little thing, but it forces us to be together. And it just, so that's my little piece. Thanks.
Anybody else want to say something? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, mailboxes. Well, we don't know.
So real quick,
I
so
mean,
just for the people on Zoom.
To me, that's a joke.
Just for the people on
Yeah,
Zoom,
that's
the question was, I still don't know what to do about the form. So actually in the chat, the postmaster is here. So there's two quotes I'm going to quote. Residential delivery has zero impact on the post office. The town has had this service for years. The second quote is, many residents are doing pickups for others as well. And I think that was back when we were talking before. But I suppose the other question that the community is asking right now is what do we do with the form and what does it mean? And so I guess we'll have to get an answer from that, maybe in some sort of document or something, because I don't think any of us really know.
Is this a form that so that you can pick up somebody's mail, or is it?
The request to have
Oh.
residential delivery at your house. Right. So I think that, and I'm going to speak freely again as a person, as a citizen. I think that's the part that's the most confusing for everybody, me personally. So, some clarity by that.
I filled that out, but I thought this is a joke. What we're going now we're going to all put up post office. Mailboxes and I don't personally. I think that's just they're throwing out ideas. We could do this. Well, now, God, what we could do that. We could do. I don't know. Who knows? Charles. Nah, that's all right. Just let him talk.
So I would kind of ask that people think about that one before they jump in and go, oh, well, the post office is closing, let's get some home delivery going. That might just be the nail in the coffin. It doesn't seem like a good strategy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Could everyone,
good
I'm sorry,
thought.
there's a lot of people on Zoom. So if you do want to speak, please come forward so that they can hear what's saying, because I don't want to have to repeat it because I might nerf the words.
Okay. Christ. I can't fucking believe it. Oh, good.
I think that what you said, Charles, is true. If we have home delivery, that we won't have a post office, but they provide a service beyond just delivering mail to the home. They sell stamps. You take your letters to the post office. You have them hand stamp it if you need a timely stamp. You pick up your packages there. There's much more than just home delivery. And so, and I like what Will had to say. I think that it's true that it is the hub of the community. It's a place that we come to and we really get to know each other and just maybe chat for a little bit. One of the things that I like to do is look at the bulletin board that's there. That's one of the aspects that we do have in the community that brings us together too. And also the artwork. I haven't seen any artwork lately in there, but it is a place that people can really be able to express what they're doing and be able to hang it up in the main lobby there. And it's really, it's just an enjoyable place to go. I mean, it's kind of a funny thing to say that you enjoy going to the post office, but believe it or not, there are plenty of people that do look forward to going to the post office and getting their mail and checking it out. And I just think that we were kind of fooled into believing that that it was just a temporary thing. Back in January, when we were talking about having the linoleum, the flooring taken out in the main part, and it was just going to be a temporary 2-week thing. We all got out of sorts, and we didn't want to have that happen. And look where we are now. I mean, we don't have a post office at all. Would it have been different if we had allowed them to move us up to Olim at the time, or would it just be where we are now? I mean, I don't know. You know, I just feel all along that we've been deceived, and I don't know. It's a dilemma, and it's a challenge for our community to come up with. And I got to thank John and Sherry. Where is she? Oh, there. Oh, anyway, I got to thank you for your presentation and what you're doing. And Jenny, I think, came up and spoke. And I think everybody that did speak, they had really good thoughts and ideas and just expression. And I got to tell you how much I can appreciate what everybody in the community does. And anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks.
It's Will again. You guys can't see me on camera, but you can definitely hear me in your voice inside there. So I just have some more from the postmaster. The purpose of the paperwork is to build the route. The second statement from the postmaster is residential delivery will not interfere with the post office in Bolinas, period. New line, many towns have both, Point Reyes, Inverness, Cazadero, comma, etc.
So, is it my turn? Cool. Well, God, I could fucking cry. I'm not kidding. It pisses me off so much. You know, I mean, from Greg Welch on, this is a lot of bullshit. And the thing is if we are the town that fought to save itself, you know, we are. And we did it, and we've done it over and over and over again. And we can do this too, you know. But my thing is, you go make noise. If Huffman doesn't respond really quickly, go to his damn office. You know, we make noise. I want to go to Santa Barbara and embarrass that prick. I do. You know, Greg Welch. Yeah, you know, I mean, what can I say? You know, but really, if something doesn't happen quick, then we really need to push it. Because it's true. The longer it goes, the farther it gets away. It's just what it's like. So we really need to, and, you know, if we can help people get their mail under the situation, right? Whatever we can do, we do. We help each other now. You know, this is a time when we have to depend on each other. My wife goes and gets the mail, so I don't, you know, I don't have to deal with it. You know, I'd be lightweight about it. But after hearing everything in this whole thing, I think, Christ, this is so important. You know, I get sleeping pills, man, through the mail. You know, if I don't get those, I flip out, you know. I got a stash, but whatever, you know. But really, you know, that's really that's so true. You know, if you're an elder and you don't drive and you can't, or the paperwork for the Medi-Cal, I mean, these things are big. This isn't like just little stuff. This is big. All of a sudden, you don't have your Medi-Cal and Medicare. What is that about? Just think what you'd have to go through the government. Go, well, my post office left, and I could, you know, it's like that's not going to do any good for anybody. So anyway, that's my hit. is we gonna make noise. If something doesn't happen, we make noise and we get together. We've done this many, many times. We are the town that fought to save itself, and so far we still have a community, you know? So anyway, that's my hit on it. Yeah. Come up. People on Zoom will.
I have another response from the postmaster to the community, and I'll just say this. And I apologize to all that are impacted due to the situation. My staff and I are also impacted from this. We are standing strong with the community, working tirelessly to make sure all of us get through this together.
Perry, did you want to just? Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know. It seems like, is anybody got anything to say? Yeah, Wendy.
I'm only saying this if elected officials are listening, but because you guys all know this. It, I think everyone who lives here loves living here, and it's a special place to us. And it's not so easy with communication. So this just adds another communication barrier. I know my cell phone doesn't work at home. I don't have a landline. It used to have one bar and in and out with no service in one bar. And as of the beginning of the year, it's 24/7, no service. So phone service is hard with communication. My internet absolutely sucks, and I'm sure a lot of other people's do too. I only have satellite access where I live. So those communication barriers are already hard enough. So to not have the post office and get mail just makes communication almost impossible. And I just think the elected officials need to hear that.
Well, I guess we're done. No, we're just beginning. Yeah, let's do that. We're just beginning. And we will take care of this. We're not going to be a town without a post office. Bottom line, that ain't happening, you know? So, good night. Love everybody, you know?
Hold on real quick. I totally forgot my favorite slide. We're having another meeting next month, second Tuesday of the month. Wednesday, April 12th, 6 to 8, BCC and Zoom. BolinasCivicGroup.org has all the information you need from tonight, as well as a recording of this Zoom you can look up later for those who have not witnessed a Zoom in person or in the room. Thank you, everybody.
Up with the chairs.